you just said you work for Kansas State, but could you talk a little bit more about what you do at Kansas State?
Okay. For the past 13 and a half years, I was working in Extension, and I was leading research on multilingual, multicultural communities in Southwest Kansas. And about 6 months ago, I took a new position as Director of Intercultural Learning and Academic Success for Multicultural Student Affairs. And I'm working with students, teaching about intercultural learning, teaching about self-awareness of culture, and to be aware of self and aware of others, so to know that yours is not the only culture. And so trying to build understanding of multicultural students, or students of color. I know we say multicultural, but we mean students of color. And so that's of the last 6 years, the last 6 months. I've been coming to Cambio for the last 10 years, presenting, collaborating on research, being part of the North Central Extension Research Activity 216. And that's where a lot of the research really happens in a lot of cases. But coming together and doing research and collaborating so that we all strengthen each other in our research and in our findings, sharing our findings. That's part of what I do in my job, but that's how Cambio de Colores has increased my effectiveness in what I do.
Sure. Could you talk a little bit more about some of the collaborations that have come about as a result of?
Yes, good idea. Well, I can think of a few of them. I've collaborated with Dr. Ramos. She's come down to Southwest from Nebraska Medical Center, and she's done research with feedlot workers, workers working in the beef packing plants, and so we've connected in that way. I've worked with Dr. Jill Kilinowski, who's done some beta testing on graphic novels that she has written around safety on the farm for migrant workers, but we found that they're connecting also to workers who are not migrant but working in agricultural settings. And worked with Dr. Corinne Valdivia on some other, on doing some more research in those multilingual, multicultural populations. Written some papers together. And one of the things that I think has really been good for our collaboration is at the end of every Cambio de Colores, anyone that's presented writes up their work for the book of proceedings. And so we always have that data present, and so we can reach out. Oh, I should also tell you I've done some other presentations on research on, and that was a collaboration with someone I had met, and he was a major in the Army, and we had been doing some research on displaced populations and receiving communities who have displaced populations either from government breakdowns, economic issues in those different countries, human rights abuses, all those kinds of things. So we've done some studies in that and continue to do that a little bit. It just keeps on going, and you find something new a little time. At this conference, I was in Dr. Ness Sandoval's demographic research, and he really connected a lot of people to where to find different demographic data sets and how those can relate to Latinos and other population groups like Native Americans. And so it's just building and building.
Great, okay. And sort of outside of the collaborative aspect, what are some other elements about the conference that you enjoy?
Well, now to this, since this is my 10th time, now it's coming back to see friends and seeing what friends are doing, and also connecting to other conferences that maybe have a different focus. For example, every 5 years, the Julian Zamora Research Institute at Michigan State University, led by Dr. Ruben Martinez, happens about every 5 years, and in October it's the 30th anniversary. So we'll go there, and some of us will present. We'll have new presenters, students from Michigan State University, and it just leads us to other places to find out what other research and how that research is applied is a really important part, because we want to make sure that our research isn't just on the shelf, that it is actually applied where possible.
Great, sweet. And so in your 10 years coming here, have you noticed any sort of evolution for you personally or in the conference itself?
You know, I don't know if I've found any evolution. Well, probably. I think I'm seeing myself as a researcher. You know, when you first start out, you think, okay, am I really a scholar? And you know, that for me has grown, and having other scholars that have a similar interest, we all have a little bit different point of view on those similar interests. Just that is really important, because then I know what other people are doing. I can see how that enhances my work, and I can offer my own information. I'm a question asker, so certainly in those sessions I'm asking lots of questions, because we're all processing at a different rate, maybe in different ways, and so maybe that's something else I've realized about myself. I sure ask a lot of questions.
Sure. And so just to ask you a final question here, is the cop-out question always that you ask at the end of the interview is, are there any other comments that you have about the conference that you would like to share before we conclude?
Well, I don't know if I've said this before. I have to say, I've been in this work for 20 years. I've attended huge national conferences, and this isn't a huge conference, but it's the best conference I come to, and that's because we've been allowed to build relationships. We've been allowed to, I mean, this size of conference allows us to build relationships and to have scholarly talks, but what I also love about it is that people are just genuine. They just want to make sure that you do well in what you're doing, and they'll do everything they can to help you. I never feel like there's a competition, an academic competition, so it's still the best conference I go to every year.
Great. Okay.
Thanks.